Welcome back. I'm just getting ready behind the scene here. If you have put your super chat in, I'll open up PayPal. Okay, back again. So I'm just going to quickly open up PayPal. For those of you, if you are wanting a super chat, you can pay through PayPal or you can pay through YouTube. It's totally up to you, especially for the public super chat. So I'll just open it up in case anyone directly has decided to pay at the last minute. And yes, we have had some changes on YouTube. We have transitioned the membership over to a Mighty Network, and hopefully in the weeks coming, especially because this is quite a dynamic month, we do have a lot of changes happening in the astrology. Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, Neptune entering into Aries, and the eclipses. So this is a very intense month, and a lot of us, especially when we're actually looking at this month, how we're actually dealing with the energy, we could particularly be finding that we're faced with some walls at the moment, maybe going back over old ground and definitely getting ready to go into this brand new chapter. So I will get the screen all set up and I will put me on screen. In typical Venus retrograde style, a lot of you may be feeling not up to par, okay? Not up to par, not feeling as though you're getting your Venusian energy. This can also be, especially because we are also having Juno retrograde, which in the members I have done an update. I do intend to do an update for the public. And that's really going to connect in with how is this directly impacting your zodiac, what directly is going on with it, how do you navigate Juno retrograde, which is happening a bit later on in the month, but it is joining Venus retrograde. And Juno is going to move between Sagittarius and Scorpio. And it is sort of like a marriage planet. It's a Venus-orientated energy related to marriages, contracts, partnerships. Yes, it can directly impact wealth, especially with Venus retrograde. Some industries you will find during this time are actually going to be more busy than not. So just because planets go retrograde, it doesn't mean to say that nothing's happening. It can mean that there's a lot going on, but there's a lot to do with the past that we're needing to deal with as well. So it's sort of like you're juggling both situations. So I'll chime in and say hello to everyone. Pardon me. Yep, and just make sure it is live. And we will look at some of the energy coming in. Now, I have started doing a blog post for the members, which I am going to be using it directly as a template in the context to give you guys the energy update. And it is quite important that we do know what is happening in March and why this is quite a large kind of month for us astrologically and physically. So we're definitely going to be seeing things at a very global level, but at a very personal level also. The Virgo eclipse is linked to the South Node. And at the moment, we do have a lot of aspects really happening, getting us to focus on the Piscean area of our life. So if you haven't pulled your birth chart, a good place to start could be AstroSeek. I do have another one which I do need to start sharing, and I'll try and start putting it in the information box directly below, especially with any of the astrological or psychic predictions I put up, where you can actually cross-reference between the two. Now, who do we have first? We have Tracy. Do we have Tracy in the house? I'll chime into the members. I'll put that into save drafts. And we will get the energy going. Now, one of the things I do need to say, hi Lois, how are you, love? Is that we are giving YouTube a facelift, okay, in pure Venus retrograde style. For me, definitely Aries being that I am a Libra. I've got Libra in my chart. So we can have a lot of things at YouTube, at Yildiz Readings, actually going through a transition and a change. And more than likely, I would say by March, we can see some physical kind of movement. And that's because of how the transits are playing out. So The only problem with Venus retrograde is, I'm being very cautious about what I'm offering. And why is that? Is because A, we're going to have Mercury retrograde. B, we're going to have Venus retrograde. So it's rewiring, reworking, redoing, looking at things that are working, looking at things that weren't working. And it's interesting that I have had a lot of clientele come through that was from the past, that's chiming in, and they're in a different stage in their journey. Because obviously for a long time, this channel, initially when it started, it was known as a psychic channel, which, yes, directly, I am psychic. Then it moved into guiding the Twin Flame Collective, and astrology. So it's a bit of everything, and we're reworking that, especially linking to where people are on their journey and how to best serve that collective and to try and provide those updates to you. So it's going to have chimes in of every element of those things I mentioned, so that you can actually get the whole kind of attribute of my personal experiences to the best of my ability to you guys, and hopefully find it as a resource moving forward. So the image of the channel is going to be changing, but it's just not surface value. There is a lot of work going into the background, integrating the membership. You will start seeing schedules for guided meditation, soul coaching sessions, which I will put them in the event calendar. A lot of the new members, and if you are a member in the new network, feel free to actually chime in the chat and actually share some of your experiences of what you've been having in this new membership, so that those that are considering going onto the email list for the second round offers can have some context of what it is, and that can really help them choose in a deciding factor whether that is something that is a good fit for them. Any questions before we proceed forward with the energy update? Now, I will, at the end of this video, if time permits, I will pull some cards for the collective energy this week, and we will do the super chats. Okay, so if you have any questions, any problems you're moving through, and you have just a general question that isn't a super chat, feel free to chime in, especially if there's something you're needing to understand. That's fine. I will answer that free. As to super chats, pay via YouTube or through PayPal, which the link is directly below, generally speaking, and it can be found both on my website as well as in the info section. Okay. Generally 20 AUD, even though the exchange rate shit. We're getting the raw end of the stick these days. And we can probably see Australia definitely is going to be in the media. When I was looking at the path of the eclipse, which I do want to bring up with the Virgo eclipse energy, which I'm hoping to either do today or hopefully on Tuesday. I'll see how that goes. Otherwise, it'll be a blog post. And that's only because these transitions astrologically are really kicking my butt. Okay, so we have Tracy. Let's see what's coming through for you. Oh, something's stuck. Now, what zodiacs can be feeling this at the moment? Who would I say? Big time Aries. I did hear an astrologer say something the other day. It was probably the only first time I've ever disagreed. When we do look at the North Node and the South Node, people usually say that we move away from it totally. In this eclipse that we're moving through in Virgo, moving towards rather on the 14th, and this is my opinion and experience, both from coaching, doing readings, watching trends and transits. Common things that people say is that we move away from something completely. Do I agree with that? I do, but it's usually transformed, because the whole dynamic between the North Node and the South Node is we've become stagnant and comfortable in that area, and that will be the Virgo energies in your life. The North Node is what we're needing to move towards, which is the Piscean energy, which is interesting because being the last zodiac, it's wrapping things up. It can be psychic, intuitive, spiritual, Neptunian, but Saturn's there at the moment. So, this particular astrologer, no names, this is just my personal experience, is that you generally do find that it's not that you're leaving that dynamic completely. It's going to inadvertently change because you have actually moved towards the North Node. It's like if you change, you can't be the person you were before. It doesn't mean to say you won't be dealing with the people, places, and things. You'll just be dealing with them differently. So that is my standpoint on it, is that I have physically seen, and I'll give one example. The North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, we haven't completely had that culmination yet. And I do believe that by the time we move into April, that is when we directly are going to see some transitions for Aries and Libra. That is when we're going to see, and it's overdue. Okay, so if you are a Libra or an Aries and you were like, look, where's the secret sauce? I thought this, would be resolved. For Libra, for instance, you guys might have found that you didn't get your outcomes and it was all about everything else and it was not about you. So you're trying to rework in this month that very dynamic. So it can feel, both for Aries and Libra, that you're having an existential crisis and things need shifting. Your results and your outcome and some physical movement in that South Node department will come through in April. So it's not that you're gone, because from what this astrologer is saying, you never get that back. Well, you are you. That doesn't make sense. So you and the new version of who you are, because of that North Node way back when, Aries, you are going to, because of those, the way you deal with your contracts, your partnerships, your relationships, your personal identity for Aries and Libra, you guys are going to go through a transition, and it can be a little bit like a volcano popping. It's like it's coming to the forefront and it's, doing this transition and change. So don't be surprised if that is something that actually happens for you. It's kicking you out. Oops, I kicked myself out. Good on you. Okay, so Tracy, we're going to do yours. And I may actually write it in the banner. Tracy, what are we doing here? And then I usually set this up, but when I did enter into the house today, because we have, like I said, shadow energy of Mercury, we have Venus that's going to be retrograde. The eclipse in Virgo directly is a Mercury sign. Don't be surprised if technology is mucking up for you. I literally landed into StreamYard this morning and they've updated the whole lot. And it's interesting because the Barbie movie, ironically enough, we do talk about, okay, do we do launches during retrogrades, be it Venus or Mercury? They actually did earn more, and it was launched during a retrograde. So quite interesting fact to know. So yes, already StreamYards is doing a lot of updates. So I've kind of entered into the streaming situation. It's like, okay, what is this? So now another thing I need to learn. We've also had Skype announcing that they're moving over to Teams, and that was a platform that I used over the years for personal booking. So again, it's directly impacting the Libra axis in my chart, and the Aries is okay. Well, we need to review that now. We need to change that. So you particularly, Tracy, are probably finding the same thing going on. Just write these names in so I can cut them as we go and we can keep on track. Otherwise, yes, we do have the list directly on screen, but I'll probably get sidetracked because my Mercury head needs to focus solely on the readings. Okay, and Dawn. So if you do add yourself, it will need to be prior to the end of this video. And I'll show it. Take that down. Okay, Now, we are on track, hopefully. Good grief. Okay, so let me have a look at your cards and I'll sum them up. Now, this could be a physical contract that you're dealing with. And I feel for you, this could be, and again, I can't advise people legally. I can't advise people medically. I can interpret the energy of the cards and what I'm saying psychically and take it and, use it where it lands. Now, this card can link to Leo, but again, it could be to do with a legal binding contract. In the aspects of the astrology, how we're looking, it's you versus contracts. It's what you want versus other people. You're going through this big change this month. You also can feel at the moment very isolated. Now, how Pisces can actually work out in your astrology is that because it's in the 12th house, thanks, Lois, it's really lagging today as well, which is driving me crazy. I might close that and see if that works. Okay, so how it lands when we have Pisces transiting the 12th house. And in your birth chart, it'll be different, but you'll still get that kind of energy frequency coming up because you can feel quite isolated. The other way it can play out is just leave me alone. So this can be this week. I would say you feel quite removed. Yeah, I know. It's Mercury. I'll move it there. If we move it across, I might be able to see if it starts coming through. It's really diabolical today. But again, this is Mercury. I'll try and sit still and hopefully it won't interfere with it. The 12th house can make you feel remote, but I feel as though spiritually you're trying to, you're processing things. So you're looking at things, you're feeling quite isolated. You can feel like you need to hide. You could feel like you're observing like a fly on the wall. But as to situations around you, the way you could respond to it could be triggered. So just be really careful about how you directly are responding to things at the moment. I do think there is a situation that you can be dealing with where it could be a physical contract, or you might be wanting to look at some sense of justice, balance. What do I do? Now, if this is to do with career, the best time, and I always say this, during a Venus and Mercury retrograde, and we're having Juno retrograde, so we've got love situations going on. We've got divine feminine going through an upgrade. It's almost like a death and a rebirth of divine feminine. And it can be emotional through that. You do need to check in with yourself between now and April as to how you're caring for your body, how you're experiencing emotional triggers. Respecting who the new version of you is, but not getting upset. Try to not get upset. Try to just flow with it, because it's almost like day by day you're going to have different emotions. One day you could be very romanticized with the situation, very positive, and it's going to change each day. So that kind of can be a very positive way to look at how the transits directly can impact you. Because if you're feeling really diabolical one day, just know you're going to feel very different the next day. So you don't throw the towel in, because you are directly going to feel different each day. But it's trying to give you these PDFs of information, of vibration, so that you can form this new opinion, new movement, new direction moving forward of who you are. But don't sum it up right away. Don't throw the towel in, okay? Things are going to go in your favor. There also could be a family-related dynamic where you're looking at contracts. It's like, okay, where am I at with this? How do I address this? Where is me in this vibration? And again, I would say a lot of people are going to feel as though family, be it's your emotions, your family, your physical home environment, all of that is going to be front and center stage. almost like a niggling and a frustration kind of in the mix of things. It could be that you are getting things done at home and you're like, wow, and the list is building up. It's like, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. Oh, this repair over here needs doing. So things can be taking you away from your intended goal. Things can be feeling as though they are mounting up and building. I would just deal with what you can when you can and not make that toilet paper roll list, okay? Because when we look at that, it causes us to want to throw the towel in because we're like, it's just too much. I just can't get ahead. I just can't get ahead. Okay. So, you know, where you were feeling, gosh, what do I connect to? What do I commit to? How do I feel about this circumstance? It's very confusing for you at the moment. As to where you're going to go, you are going to move away from that vibration. And I think it's almost like you're wanting the PDF to know where you're going. You're wanting the PDF to know, okay, where do I stand with this? Where am I moving forward with this? What am I moving forward with? What do I even look at? You are moving forward, but, you know, it's very similar to the energy we had last week, where the analogy I gave was with the North Node in Pisces and what I'm saying with your cards, we can kind of trip ourselves up with that Virgoian energy because we can kind of get to a point where we're going, yeah, but no, I need a physical map. I need to know where I'm going. And we're very critical and we want the detail and we don't have the detail. And it's like, I've got to sign a contract and I don't know what to do. Move and each door will open as necessary. Rejection is the universe's protection. I literally said this the other day to my daughter. She had a bunch of frustrations happening. She's Aquarius. A lot of Aquariuses are going through this at the moment. It is going to get better, okay? For those of you that are Aquarian out there or the aspects in your chart, it is going to get better. There is a change in direction, which can cause anxiety. You also could get to a point where you just want to throw the towel and you're like, I'm forcing that change in direction. I would say get to know the new version of you through this month. Don't expect too much of yourself. But the hard work you put in where you can each day with what you have in front of you is going to cause that change in direction. You also psychically can feel as though you intuitively are picking up on a change in direction, and that can be quite psychic in nature. And it's going to ask you to really trust the process, even though you may feel as though it's not looking so peachy, okay? And again, this is the second week in a row we have had the energy of the moon coming up in a reading. And these eclipses are literally changing everything. Your home zone, your health is going to be very important. Your emotions, being hard on yourself, feeling as though you need to change things, caring for yourself. If your body's taking you out at the moment and you're feeling vibrationally, look, this can be many things. This could be, am I lovable? It could be, oh my gosh, I'm so run down. Oh my gosh, I've got so much on my plate. Universe is trying to give you a pause at the moment, but they're also trying to uncover something for you. Uncover something in your physical routine. Sometimes with the sixth house, it can be where we are our own worst enemy. It can be a physical enemy, maybe a tribe energy that is very critical. It can be the words that we speak or a habit, okay? This could be a habit. Conflict of interference is coming up, but it's not in a 3D sense. Now, could it be coming? And what do I mean by this? When we see the third party card, it can be a person, place, or thing. It can be your physical belief system, but there is a conflict. But the funny thing is, you are moving forward. So I do think this is more a vibration that interference and people always getting in between. You know, it's almost like you feel as though you're in between a rock and a hard place and the interference always wins. I'm here to tell you this is not what your cards are showing. That could be something from a psychological point of view that is playing out, but they're saying, rest assured, you are going to have the outcome you desire in your relationship sector, in your career sector. There is going to be something that's going to occur that is going to change that. There is a little bit of a delay, But I do think there emotionally is something at the moment that is kind of like making you feel like success is impossible. Okay? It's a little bit like getting your, okay, wanting to get a tan in a storm. It's like you can get your tan. You might need to wait for the sun to come out, or you might need to use a cream, or you're going to get what you want. But there's something to do with this cycle here right now that is kind of agitating that situation, triggering that situation, and the trigger is causing change. So you are directly going to get what you want. But at the moment, opinion, vibration, feeling is like no. And I'm hearing, hi Ben, I was actually thinking about you the other day. So we are all physically going through a change. And I do see you as getting it. So I hope, Tracy, this helps, because it does really feel as though you are going through a hard one. I wouldn't be surprised if you're unwell at the moment, okay? If you're unwell, if you're feeling quite isolated, if these weeks, this for you, I would say, especially knowing your zodiac sign, if you're aware that what you're moving into is a transformative cycle, if you're aware that this is not going to be easy, you're not going to be so hard on yourself, okay? So I would say it doesn't mean you're not going to get what you want. It does mean be aware of the vibration of the weather and know that you are going to get to where you need to be, okay? We'll update the stream of who's next. And I hate Mercury retrograde. I really do. I really do. Yeah, how have you been, Ben? Is everything flowing swimmingly for you? How is your career? Ben's too optimistic. He'll probably say, oh, it's been great. It's been great, Yildiz. Okay, I'm telling you, everything is just taking cosmic journey. Hi, Angela. How are you? Doing well on the highway driving. So how's career? Is it great? How's family? No doubt in the weeks coming, my calendar is going to be overflowing with this energy. So if you don't know your transits, go getting the paperwork done. Yeah. Oh, I tell you, and it makes sense because the eclipse in Virgo can be it's reworking everything Mercury. It's food, it's resources, it's banking, it's paperwork, it could be tax, it could be technology, schools. But yeah, a lot to do with doing old things, getting old things completed so we can move forward. Best way I can describe it. And also confirming we are going to have those new things. Living in Hunter Valley now, Yildiz, not in Queensland anymore. You know, it's interesting because the eclipse path, usually we do tend to have, Australia has Pisces and Virgo in the nodes, right? And we have the nodes currently in Pisces and Virgo. Saturn also is going through its death cycle because it's going to transition, but it's going through a death cycle, which I've always seen when we had Saturn retrograde in Pisces, we had the floodgates open because Pisces can link to water, waters, fish. We had in Australia over the last week, we had whales beaching themselves. We've had people off the coast, waters. We've had severe cyclones and weather, which I did put up in the prediction on the community post. And I've done such on the website, linking to the locations. And on the eclipse path, one section very lit up is Australia, and it's moving through a transition. So WA even will be directly impacted by something, be it it's something to do with, I would say look back to 2006 for things collectively. What other year was it? I'll have to put the years up, but I'll mention it inside the eclipse. But yeah, definitely. So weather pattern, cyclones, earthquakes, banking, insurance companies as well. Really in highlight at the moment. Okay, so Cosmic Jenny, let's take a look at you. Oh, okay, you're ready. Well, I hope you're ready. I do hope you're ready. Because this eclipse directly is impacting you. Okay. This could be something that you're actually like, no, I'm good. I'm ready. No. Are you? Are you ready? Now, in the context, no, darling, it's not. In the context of your life, how can I explain this? Don't be so hard on yourself. Sometimes we can have, the past can actually serve us in many ways, even though we may not see that. So the past can serve you in a sense that you have the toolbox of what you've had in the past. And 2017, 16, 17, 18, beginning of 18, I believe. Look back to that time and 2005, 6, 7, and beginning of 7. Those portals can be something significant as to what is happening right now. And this is the middle ground. We're going to revisit this area. This eclipse for you is going to be both you versus another person. You're going through a change. You could feel, it's driving me crazy. You could feel as though you're going through a change. You could feel as though, oh my gosh, am I ready? One day you could feel ready. The next minute you could be, God, am I even ready for this? Am I ready for this? Now, and I'm saying this very cautiously. We're never ready, but you have the tools in order to do what you need to do when things pop off, okay? If we are always preparing, you can be as prepared as possible, but the tools you may need are totally different. So you have your resource. So they're actually trying to, A, get you to let go, but B, get you to know that you are in the here and now. You do have the tools to move forward, and it's not that change isn't happening. Change is happening. Sometimes we demand change, but then we're scared of change because we don't trust it. I'll give you an example. So from a psychological point of view, especially for those of you that do follow the twin flame path, our ego a lot of times can directly get involved. And so from a subconscious level, our heart chakra, our intuition, our third eye, our ego can be telling us we want change, but then we realize we've got some stumbling blocks, some hold-ups, some blocks, some belief systems, some prejudices that we're needing to directly work through. And so, universe only can really tune into your vibration of where you are. So we sort of send out this contradiction to universe, and so the contradiction comes back to educate us to get where we need to be, to help us heal. So you can't theoretically fake it till you make it. So in one polarity, we understand that there is a divine connection between all and between the connection. And then on the other, the ego gets involved and we're like, yeah, but I don't believe it because X, Y, and Z would need to move and this happened and that happened and can I trust a person? And so we're moving into that kind of frequency of ego. We're having a battle with the ego. A vibration is a vibration, the ego is the ego. They're two different things. Okay, so you're fighting with the past. You're fighting with, okay, I wanted that. It was very romanticized. I felt X, Y, and Z. How do I feel about this? What do I do about it? Things are changing. But let the past go, not in a sense of forgetting it, but in a sense of relaxing the vibration so that you can be in the here and now. Because in the heart chakra, it's almost like the masculine is coming in, your energy of your masculine is coming in, trying to censor, your heart chakra, censor what you want. Anger could be coming up. It could be like, why has this happened to me? Why isn't anything going according to plan? This is a great time for healing for you. Okay. It is a great time for healing. There's a lot of discord happening for you. Again, I don't think this is bad. It's like when I have a lot of personal chats with individuals, and I know the astrology, I have toolkits that I personally use because I am by no means immune to this energy. I even have the same conversation with myself. There is discord at the moment, okay? There is discord, there is frustrations, there is upheaval, there is shadow work. You're going to have a great day, you're going to have a shitty day. As we're moving through that, this is a seed of a new chapter, and you are going to get your new chapter. We have the Page of Cups here, and there is almost like you're feeling like a newborn baby giraffe trying to walk. And you're like, have I picked the right path? Is what's happening to me working? Is there a brand new chapter here? You're also not wanting crumbs. Sometimes we actually say to ourselves, I don't want crumbs anymore, be it it's in my love life or my career sector. It's like everything is coming through very slowly. Everything is very immature and premature. It's not, right? So especially in a sense of the pentacles holding on to them. It's almost like holding on to the value. What we tend to find is, and this is something that really baffled me over the years, in values, in money, it's like when we hold on to it for dear life, we actually start losing. I don't know why that happens. It just does. It's not you need to give your money away. It's that you need to get into a vibration of your value and knowing that it's in infinite abundance and that just relax. And what you need is always going to be given to you. It literally comes back to you. And I feel this is in the context of your money, of your self-worth, and people seeing your worth and loving you, and in your love life. Okay, so I feel you don't need to protect yourself so heavily. I feel if you just know that universe does have your back and they are going to give you what is owed to you, and that every human being, good and bad, will have shitty days, we're not going to personalize it as much. It's not to say that what is happening to you doesn't feel personal, especially if we're doing shadow work and we're going, oh, that was a very romantic time. Why am I still where I am right now? It's not that that's not valid. It's that we're in the vibration of abundance because we do know that we're worth it. We do know that people are having hard times and we are nostalgic of it. Now, it's funny because at the moment, I'm not seeing you tuning into the karmic as per se, karmic energies, karmic people. I do see you being quite concerned about stability. And, the problem that you could find at the minute is that you're frustrated by seeing people that aren't putting energy in getting a lot. You're frustrated by how hard you're actually putting energy into things, but you also could feel like you want to retract your energy away and not do anything because you just need more information. I think a decision is coming, but I think the biggest feeling I'm having is you could be feeling this week like you're going through an existential crisis. Does make perfect sense with the eclipse coming up, which is occurring on the 14th. We already energetically are in the signature of it. I would say pay very close attention to this, but ease yourself into it. Change doesn't mean you won't get what you want. A lot of times we spiritually and psychologically can feel, if I've changed and I see that person hasn't changed, that means I'm not going to get what I need. No, not at all. What it does mean is you're changing and vibrating that change. You've got to adjust, it's like a soul walk-in. When we go through a change, we're almost criticizing ourselves because of our previous experiences. Well, like, this is what happens when I change, and that means I won't get what I want. No, it's integration. So as you're integrating, just be very much in the core. Be very much in the moment, because our minds can get away with us. It's a little bit like leaving a person. When you realize that your relationship is over, and we have accepted it in our minds, and it's taken a great deal of time because you've got to go through the 7 stages of healing, we do self-sabotage, and because it is a spiritual process, and we can say, no, I haven't tried enough, or, and it's like a 40-day step program. When you know and you have accepted that you need to leave a person, place, or thing, we tend to freak ourselves out, and we will go back, and we will go back, and then you'll feel like that, and then you leave again, and then you're going back. So it's like sitting in the eye of that storm till you can get over that vibration to be very present. And so by not thinking of the nostalgia, by not thinking of the what ifs, and just being in the here and now, it actually helps you through that. And I think that's something maybe as a toolkit, maybe that can help you at this point, because when we go into the third eye and we're kind of processing too much of that, be it it's nostalgia, be it it's like, oh my gosh, what if this doesn't happen? We're actually not choosing a physical step forward, or we're not even being present. And I think at the moment, there could be analysis paralysis for you. Give yourself a break where you can. I also feel with your career, there is going to be a breakthrough. And it's okay to change. I just keep hearing it. It's okay to change. It doesn't mean things aren't going to go your way. Stop fighting it. It's okay to change. And you also can feel, what am I fighting for? You don't need to fight for something that's truly yours. So stop looking at it as a battle. Look at it as the universe is going to give you the next door you're meant to be in. And what's supposed to be for you is always going to be there. It's never going to be taken from you. Okay? Who do we have next? We have Research Clue. I do need to update the list. So for those of you that you want to speak chat, it's 20 AUD. And we will be closing the super chats shortly. So how have you been, Angela? Thank you. So I've got my trusty Lois on hand. Lucky lady. I'll just plonk it up there. It's easy. Okay, so we have Research Clue. Oh, that flipped right over. Oh, okay. You've got a lot of Mars energy happening here. Okay, you've got this. It's inflamed. There's inflamed situations. There's power struggles. What personally is going on for you, my love? Because this is causing a whirlwind for you at the moment, and you could be finding it feels intense. It feels like it's almost like the blood is boiling, but it's ready to blow. That's how it feels. It's ready to just do its nana. And I don't feel you going to nana, or I feel you want to do your nana. Okay, what do we got here? You're just like, get the hell out of my way. There's too many people up in your business. There's too much energy going on that is very triggered. My mum is going into long-term care. Yeah. On a permanent basis. We did say, didn't we? Girl. Look, I'm going through that with my ma at the moment. And, I've worked in the care industry many moons ago. And one thing I notice, especially because collectively, hi Dawn, collectively we do have Mars and Cancer. We can have a lot going on with our families at the minute. We can have a lot happening with our mother figures, with our physical home environments, with our children. And we may be becoming very firm or frustrated. Why? It's because Mars is very protective. Mars can be very blunt. Mars can be very concerned, or we could be at war with these people, So we do need to be very careful in navigating this. But there also can be things to do with Mars being surgery, or cuts and bruises, or cutting in a communication way. Yeah, look, and I had this conversation, especially because I know that each country has their own system, each country has their own dynamic. But in WA, for instance, what they do tend to find is the person, providing they're able to care for themselves, generally they can give them packages and they can live at home. But once it gets to a point where they can't walk, can't care for themselves, for getting things, that's when it becomes a risk, and that's when they actually look to do that. So, the person, from what I have witnessed working in nursing homes and disability service, is that many times the person does have an adjustment. So you can find that they can be very bitter in the first week. In the second week, they're adjusting. And in the third week, they're like, why did I not do this years ago? Because that sense of community comes in, the sense of belonging and people fussing over them. So there is an adjustment, obviously. Okay, so we'll get back to the reading, and this is for research clue. So research clue, you do seriously have, this could be something going on in family, okay? This could be something that you are, there's power struggles. You might have a lot on your plate as well. You may have a lot kind of creeping up. But again, I do tend to say, I feel as though you've got a lot of energy, but I do feel you're tired. And I'd say from that Mars axis, just be careful not to burn yourself out and to get too entwined. Sometimes when we are looking at a situation in our life, we do need to observe it like a painting. And when we physically can't see the hay for the clouds, it's almost like, especially if it's really messy. And I can't think of an artist that would be the best depiction of what I'm visually seeing, but it's like paint splattered everywhere. And it's not really what the image is. It's like a Van Gogh or a, yeah, we could call it a Picasso. Things are looking distorted. Things are looking Neptunian. And you're like, how do I see the hay for the clouds right now? And I actually do like both artists, Van Gogh preferably, but so it's about stepping back, because I feel from a visual point of view, there's a missing link here, there's a missing piece. And I think if you step back, piss everyone off just for 5, get your groundings and your anchorings, I think you're going to be up to, because you've got this management kind of frequency going on. And managing things and seeing things and being able to respond in a very empathic, intuitive vibration, especially with Sun and Pisces at the moment. We could either want to isolate ourselves and just, go on we could be binging movies. We could be wanting to just listen to meditation. And that can be a very good thing to do right about now. Being able to get into that vortex to concentrate can be actually isolating ourselves. But if we're triggered and we need emotional support, that's when we turn into people. We turn into like-minded energies to actually move us through that process. I'm seeing at the moment, it could be that you need to move away from certain individuals just for 5. But what my guides are showing me is it's almost like they're not giving you permission to do that. It's like there's too much going on. So you're kind of attempting to navigate it in the very best way possible when you can take 5, because I do think this is, it's like you don't quite know what to do, with connections. You're also having a lot of processes really psychologically looking at all of your relationships in the past. Happy birthday, Ben. And trying to sum them all up. So this could be huge revelations you've had in relationship to connections. And it's interesting that this has already happened and you're moving this into the past position, because, Juno's yet to come online where it's going retrograde. And know where Sagittarius and Scorpio is. The first thing that we will be getting, and we'll already be picking up on this, is in a Venus retrograde, thanks, Star, what we will get is that with the Sagittarius axis, it can be to do with siblings. It could be to do with religious beliefs, values, traditions, the country they live in, blockages happening, your value systems, whether they merged or not, divorces, because again, it's Sagittarius, it's Jupiter. Whether you went out and did anything together, whether the adventure was actually spiritually there. But again, spiritual beliefs is one analogy. Then it's moving into Scorpio, and it can be any betrayals that happen. I'm telling you, this Juno retrograde is going to cause a lot of people to go through some shadow work. And it's weird. It's like I feel you've already done this. It's like I feel you're already in that, and we haven't even got to Juno retrograde. But I do think it's because your psychic abilities, especially probably because of your zodiac sign. You already energetically maybe picking up on this in the ethers and going through that process. I think you're kissing the past goodbye with blessings of the information it's now in a renewed sense given you. And I think it's going to give you a lot of healing. But you're like the Full card in Tarot, and you're moving forward. And you're trusting that the past doesn't have to define the future. That even the past can come back in a fashion. Even the past can be changed and evolved. And it's interesting, some of the downloads I've been getting psychically lately in the connection of love is that, love can withstand time and situations. It doesn't matter what goes down. True love actually will endure the storm. And that's fact. It's like, you can see perfect examples of it all over the movies, and it doesn't mean their life was romanticized. It does mean that true love does find a way, and true love does exist, and it can exist inside your heart. Even if you're not with that person, it's still honoring the fact that you have a feeling inside you, and that's yours to have. It's your life. There is a change happening, and again, you've got the Star card. But there is a lot going on in your life. And, one of the things that my guides are showing me, it's almost like, when is it my turn? When is it my turn to just, focus on my life, not focus on everybody else's shit? People not coming at me. Good luck with it at this point in time. It's not to say you're not going to have that, but it's helping you value yourself more. By having this simulation of Mars and Cancer, Mars is going to move into Leo. I'm not looking forward to that one because it lands in my Saturn. What we can have is we're going through the simulation, but it's helping us value ourselves. It's helping us, and we are choosing certain situations, be it it's with our family, our children, our home, our physical emotions. We're choosing it. It's not that we're liking some of those things. It could be a real shitty situation. But how we respond to it is a choice. It can be a reaction, but what do we want? Do we want the reaction to it? Or do we want the choice in the way in which we attempt to respond? And I think there is an opportunity here. I do see career progression. If you can't get what you want here, you will get it, okay? And I think you're at this crossroad in your life at this point in time where you're valuing yourself a whole lot more. And I think it's between now and April, right? Because you do have, you've got the Emperor energy. But the first thing I'm seeing, and I'm not picking this as negative whatsoever, I'm feeling you're well beyond the time of achieving that target. So you've been patient. And you're like, look, I know my worth. I know the experience. I know the expertise. I have changed. But I don't. It's almost like if they don't fit the bill and you feel you don't fit the bill there and they're complaining, put your resume out. Because you will get what you deserve. You will be the fit. In the right location. And I feel like there's no point in carrying something that isn't balanced. If they're constantly pointing the finger, and this is just something psychically I'm picking, don't make yourself small for someone that can't see, it's always, as we say, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And that's so sad, but it's so true. Sometimes in losing something, we value it so much more, because when a person has been there doing things behind the scene that we don't know and we don't value because we didn't know all the crap they had to go through, we then, when they're removed, and that could be in an employment setting, it's almost like, oh shit, this person is actually doing more than I paid them for. That's kind of the analogy I'm being given here. And I think, you are going to move in that Jupiter energy. You're going to make a judgment, but it doesn't have to happen right away, love. Just sit with it at the moment. If these are downloads you're getting, be it you're moving house, you're wanting to rewrite your life. You're done, okay? You're done. You're wanting to rewrite your life. Step cautiously. Plan your attack. Plan your mission. Take the time to do it. Tie things up in a neat little bow. You're making your decision this month. I hope that helps. Please tell me how it lands. especially if you're listening to this after. It helps with the analytics of the video. Dawn, I better update the list, Lois. Okay, so who do we have? Who has paid for their super chat? Where is the... It's in Banner. Okay, so we're at Dawn, and then we need to add... Then we need to add the update. Is Dawn in the house? Poppy, it's 20 AUD, sweet. I can do it on this occasion, but it is 20 AUD. Hi, lady. I know. It's really weird. I always know when my tribe in the members is triggered or in the thick of it because they're so quiet. I better take, okay, Dawn, I'll add that there. So, look, and your zodiac sign, I tell you, it is going through at the moment. Hold on to your hat, Dawn, honestly. Yeah, where's Kerry? Did I put Kerry in there or did I just magically wipe it? I haven't done Kerry's yet, have I? How did that pop off? I'll do Kerry after. I don't recall doing Kerry's. Did I do Kerry's? So this is the issue. Mercury. Oh, Lord. So is Leo next ready for this eclipse? Are you a morning-born baby or an evening-born baby? I've actually been in a great place lately. Poor girl. Hold on to your hat. I'm just saying. Okay, so we got the eclipse in Virgo, 14th. Yeah. Juno is going to be retrograding in your Venus house. Be ready. It's about 3 to 4 weeks. Juno I find very interesting. When she goes retrograde, shit. 3 a.m. Okay, so you're an AM baby. So yeah, I need to do some research because there is a difference between Leos and Cancers can directly be impacted by eclipses, but it will depend on the type. Like in general, I would say definitely look after your heart chakra during an eclipse, especially with your Leo placements. If you got, say, Leo in your 6th house, definitely. If you got Leo in your 1st house, definitely. Heart chakra care. And anyone that has that, look after it. If you find anything's funky, go and see a professional. Yeah. I love StreamYards. I'm not being sarcastic, but I'm telling you, Mercury and StreamYards and any technology, it's glitchy. Okay, so Dawn, what will you have going on? Shit. What won't you have going on? Number 1, you can find that your money and wealth can be increasing. You may be very focused on that particular area and working very hard. You also might be looking at things that you need to really address. You could be coming through very assertive. You also may be, you've got to be careful, okay? Because look, this could be to do with you going, I want to set up my legacy for my tribe and family. You could be very direct. I would be careful of loans during this time. And what do I mean by that? We're going to have Venus, Mercury, Mars is in your 2nd house. I would be careful of loaning out. Not financial advice, astrological, okay? What you give, you may not get back. But it's more going to be of the intent of you trying to help somebody. But definitely it could be that you have repairs on the home front. You may find that you're looking at security. updating, contracts. Thank God I am working on creating more money. Yeah, it's going to be very focused. Look, it is direct. So where you were maybe having issues with, oh my God, how am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my taxes? It's like it could be coming up where it's changing. Okay, could be coming up where it's now kind of moving forward. The only problem you can find is Mercury and Venus retrograde, and then add Juno into the mix. We're going to have some delays in that department. So being very, it can be like not looking at it as you're a billionaire, but just, flowing, keeping some resources there, being aware of it, being aware of any patterns. Now, repairs you could be looking at on the home front, wanting to get things done. Home-based businesses as well, and generating wealth. The other thing I can see for you, which you do need to be careful of, is Mercury can directly impact you. That can be in your home zone. Okay? Something to do with your family also can come to an end. It could be maybe a relative, maybe that's unwell. There could be something there going on. And again, between now and the eclipse, it could be it could be something as simple as, okay, the person's in retirement, now they're going into a home, or a person's unwell and transitioning over. You also could be looking at your home and saying, hey, does this home resonate with me? It could be an old dynamic with family coming to a head and things changing. So that Virgo energy is going to directly be transformed. Your whole home is going to be transformed. Your whole energy of how you deal with family, how you relate to them, it is going to go through a beautiful metamorphosis between now and next year, the end of next year. Now, the next eclipse links to your 11th house. And then what we can have, you're going to have, I would also say, 10th house of career, especially anything spiritual, it's going to be really amplified at this point in time. You're going to actually have all these creative ideas, journal them. Go slow, Dawn, okay? Because you could bite off, this is one issue, we could bite off more than we chew. Things could be like growing. You may not also know where it's going to go, but you're going to have to trust the process. But it could be very, very creative. You can be very creative at the moment. Now, as to love, Juno will retrograde. Don't think that things are going to stand as they are. There is definitely going to be, this could be anything down from blast to the past. It can be the way you visually see it, because especially when we are solo, be it we're connected to a soul path, say for us at an individual level, in the axis of your chart, what you can find is you will be reflecting upon all relationships, marriages, contracts, partnerships. So what it will change is how you view and value them, how it triggered you, how it showed up for you, how it didn't. Really facing our demons. Can it also link to that physical person? Yes, 100% it can. They also will be going through that, okay? Axis of Scorpio and Sagittarius. You're going to be very adventurous. I would be careful about going to extremes. I would probably, at this point in time, avoid any joyrides. This would not be the time, especially for your zodiac, to jump out of an aeroplane, to fly, to go on, one of those 50-meter drops. Not a good time. No parachuting. Caution with psychedelics as well. Again, I do not promote it. A lot of psychic attacks can happen around that. But you also can have a lot of people coming towards you in a sense of career. That's exactly what I've been working on in my relationships. Yeah, so look, it's generally with transits, we experience them earlier. They're going to impact our psyche. You're going to intuitively have those downloads. I always call Venus and Juno retrograde a little bit like Coyote Ugly. You're going to get the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then you're going to sum it up. It can be romanticized, and then it can move through, and it can be like, this and that, not so sure. You're going to find that in your career. You're going to find that in your body. You might all of a sudden go, I'm on a diet. Okay, I'm on a diet. I need to cut these habits out. I need to get fit. Where is that old me? All of us collectively are going to go through that. Okay, we're all going to be like, okay, am I looking after my wellness? Am I looking attractive? Gee, I haven't waxed. I haven't cut my hair. I haven't done X, Y, and Z. Empress new clothes. So you can have that too. So you have all these changes coming. You can be sensitive to the energy. I would be cautious about, you're going to be super sensitive. So it's going to come in waves. I would be cautious around making any hard judgment during the Virgo eclipse. I'd clear probably 3 days either side and be very present, because you can have some external situations going on where you're needing that time. Don't overcommit your time this month. Some path you walk down, you may be returning to, linking to the past, but you're going to have courage to walk through that door, okay? There could be a bit of conflict. You can have more than one option here. You can have more than one option. I get there could literally be, if this is happening psychologically, it's also going to inadvertently happen 3D. So if first it's happening in the mind, don't be surprised when it happens in the 3D, because it's once you've kind of processed it, the simulation is given to you. Okay? Now, you're not cursed. Good things come to those who wait. You could be just focusing on your pentacles at the moment, but inadvertently it is going to impact your love life as well. So you could be like, no, nothing in love is happening. I'm just going to focus on my pentacles. They're like, look, by self-focusing, yes, it helps the relationship flow, but you can feel you're cursed. You must get out of that mindset. You're not cursed. Good and bad people have good and bad times. You're just in that transition. So you are self-focused at the moment, which is perfect, but don't feel that you're cursed around love. This is almost like an assimilation setting. They're saying you were, and I've told you this 100 times, you're not the problem. This person's dynamics of coming to a closure of where they are and what they're doing is their problem. Yes, it inadvertently is messing with you because it was something you desired, but it was never your fault, nor was it your issue. So while that person in this retrograde goes through that in assimilation setting, there are distinct possibilities for certain zodiac signs that can directly walk away from connections, but they have more closure and they're more open to seeing your point of view when they make that decision themselves. I hope that makes sense, because you have, I do think there is going to be a phone call you're going to receive that can trigger you. I don't think it's in relationship to TF, but I do think for some reason TF is showing up for you. Okay, and it feels in a supportive way. And don't block that in a sense of, say, if something really, a shake-up happened, that it's okay to communicate, but go into the heart chakra and say, hey, what resonates with me? Okay, I hope that helps for this week. Super chats now are closed. I'll add Ben to the list. Otherwise, we'll never get these all done. Not that there's a lot. And Ben. Okay, we have Kerry. So, Kerry, having a shitty time. That's ever so polite of me. You're like, yeah, to say the least, Yildiz. Thank you, Lois. Hi, sweet. I read your text this morning. I had to check whether it was public or members. I was like, geez. You're like, I don't know where the hell I'm going, Yildiz. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing with this contract? What am I doing with it? You know, I had a coaching session with an individual that is your zodiac sign the other day. And, you know, they would directly understand a lot of what I was saying. With Pisces being over your 12th house at the moment, how it can be in assimilation is you spiritually do need your own space. But it's kind of like you could feel at the moment that you're stuck. You could feel like you need some spiritual space to do things that are vibrationally in alignment with you. You may feel as though a situation is a prison, but it's getting you to face the North Node, and the North Node is Pisces. This is for Aries and Libra a hard month. This is for certain zodiac signs a hard month, but it isn't meaning that you're not going to get what you want. During this simulation, and it does appear to be this is about a contract situation, okay? You've been tamed, okay? You have been tamed. A person coming into a new environment, is there evidence that this person has summed it up, or is it more a vibration you are feeling and the way they are responding to you? Because another thing is, within hierarchy at the moment, it is going to come through a little bit like a dictatorship. I'm just going to be rude. They're literally, collectively, can be, I would say, strikes in employment. Strikes in employment. Protests. So trust me, it's happening everywhere. It's not just happening to you. That should be comforting, even though when we're looking at our own energy, it's like, look, just get to the point. Get to the point is it's a simulation. So it's a simulation of what we're going through to deal with the karmic situation and say, hey, okay. The North Node in Pisces can link to, say, beverages, and we've spoken about this within that industry. Indeed, change is happening. But also with your career, you are going to move on the up and up, but there can be some significant things that are happening. Like I said, you may be feeling, is the buck worth the grind? Do I need to move things around? You have so many active places at the moment that are talking about your physical living environment, your love life, you yourself, where you stand. And so if I could paint you a picture, which is probably going to resonate quite a bit for you, you feel like, you know, when people sew, they have a pincushion. You feel like a pincushion. People are poking you everywhere, and you're like, look, you just need to bleep right off. You need to bleep right off and get the hell out of my frigging face. So could we be, in a sense, paranoid about people's belief systems about us at the moment? We could be. You could be very critical of yourself, that you've done things the traditional way, you've followed the rules, you've done everything by the book. Why have people not appreciated you in relationships, in contracts and partnerships? In relationships, contracts and partnerships. And the separation, do I stay or do I go? Remember, I did say to you, in a simulation setting, when the nodes are in your zodiac sign, your first house, it's like the universe has the spotlight on you and they're handing you the microphone and they're going, what do you want to do? This is one of those times, and I feel this month is quite pivotal for you, especially mid-month. We've got a lot of planets retrograding in your zodiac sign. You're going to feel like you need to rip your hair out. You're going to be like, geez, what do I do? It's the same work colleagues are being very strategic. Work is like a chessboard. Yeah, well, don't play chess. You play chess your way. Do you want to circle yourself with these vibrations, or do you know, it's a little bit like universe gives us 3 mornings. And how we respond to it can be the best strategy for your career sector. I don't get a bad vibe. I do feel you also have some very influential people. How can I explain it? Your 11th house is activated at the moment with Aquarius. There is power in groups, but power in healthy groups. You do have resources, okay? Like I said, the art of appreciation is they do not know what they have until they lose it. I think the higher energy at the moment for you could be that you're going to know where you stand in this career between now and next month. But there definitely is going to be a change, okay? Because we do have the eclipse in Aries, and then we move over to that moon. It is wrapping up the last lunar cycle, but that's moving into April. You'll still feel it mid-month. So I would say within a week, we're going to feel the Aries energy. We probably already are dealing with both. I'll just be perfectly real. Mid-month, you also could decide what you're doing with your career. It could be a review of your contract. It could be that you're going over old ground. This also can be a simulation of triggers you've had because of previous employers. It's like, do people appreciate me? You know, like I said, it could be paranoia. Neptune's going to move into your zodiac sign. We could have very active imaginations, but we could have huge creative kind of revelations. The one thing I can say from a business and entrepreneur point of view, you may be looking at it going, look, I've got a lot of contacts. I could literally go out on my own at this point. I am in a position where I could do that. And that could be something that you're researching. So if you have been swinging like a pendulum and wondering what to do, don't be surprised if that pops up for you. I can guarantee you where you stand right now, your life is not going to look like that next month. That can be for better or worse, but it is going to shake it up. But what I always say is whatever universe does tend to remove, it is because they have a grand picture for you of what they think is actually going to work better for you. So don't grip onto things that are shifting in a sense of an axis. Know that universe does have you back and they're trying to swing you to the highest possibility of your life. Okay? Our ego tends to involve ourselves. The other thing is with the eclipse and Virgo, it can be very unsettling for you. You can be very critical on yourself. It can cause analysis paralysis, especially with Pisces over the 12th house. Don't do things alone. If you need support, seek support, be it spiritual, be it a conversation piece, a best friend, whatever it is. But don't allow it to fester. If you do feel you need some space and you do need to isolate yourself away from people, do such. Take time out, even if it's taking a day off. The other thing I can say is don't let it fester to the point you feel isolated. This transit for you is only going to be here till next year. And a lot of the planets at the moment where they sit are going to change. So it's not going to be the same vibration. So what you're feeling right now is not going to be the same vibration. I can guarantee you probably feel that this is feeling like last year for you. You're like, oh my God, I'm straight back to square one. That's only because we're going to have an eclipse in your zodiac sign. Okay? So you have something to do with contracts coming up. You're like, God, I was being quite traditional. I was ticking all the boxes. I was doing things by the book. Do I need to go back to something more traditional? Where do I stand with this? I feel like I'm going to lose my job or I'm going to leave my job. You could also have flashbacks to connections. Both subjects are going to play out this month, okay? Moving into next month, do not be surprised. Don't be surprised at all. Be careful with pacifiers and how you deal with your stresses. This can be a time where you fall off the bandwagon. Can be a time when you're dealing with them maybe in a not so healthy way. And I think the thing is that we have to understand with our vibration like a pyramid, when we do things that, don't feel in alignment for us, what's generally going to happen is we're still going to feel crap. You can take your magic potions. You can do your magic guided meditation. When we are doing something that does not feel in resonance and alignment with us, we generally feel like we're spiraling out of control and we're going in circles. When we do then decide, you could be literally doing the same thing. Like, okay, you're going to a job you absolutely hate. Once you physically make that decision to exit stage and you start putting resumes out or emailing your kind of, applications in, because you've done something, automatically, it's almost like you don't care about what's happening at the job anymore because you somehow spiritually have taken your power back. So that's one example of how we can actually change the whole vibration of it and not live in that PTSD energy, is to go, no, I need to do something, even if you decide not to go. It could be, okay, I've relieved that stress by honoring the fact that I need to do something. It can also be that there's old things that you need to get done at this point in time. The other thing is getting comfortable with being alone, getting comfortable with that you're not isolated, that sometimes it's then, my daughter says to me all the time now, she's like, Mum, you can do this. I can't. And it's so interesting how afraid of ourselves we are, how afraid of ourselves we are to be, how necessary it is for us to constantly entertain ourselves with other individuals, be it it's conversation, company. When you have a 12th house transition, it can be very spiritual. And I can tell you by doing this work, it's also where you can hide your hopes and dreams. It's where you can feel a prisoner of those hopes and dreams, but it also can be where you're actually creating them behind the scenes. You're keeping things very private. So with your feelings, with what you're sharing, there could be a massive poker face at this point in time. And I also feel you're going to allure this demeanor that can be very, how do I put it? The art of seduction. It's going to be very hidden because Neptune is moving into Aries, which is your zodiac sign. So you can have moments of disillusionment, but you also could be almost like the poker face energy, the art of war. Like, you're going to be so good at it, it's going to be ridiculous. So good at it. Okay, so see more comments. I don't want to go. This is just the last 7 days. I'm not alone. 3 girls are isolating me at work. I'm very capable on my own. I just don't understand whispers. Yeah. Even if you are comfortable in this environment, if universe believes this is not your career moving forward, they will exit you. So if we're getting signatures, and this is the thing with universe does have our best interests at heart. If we're getting tower moments, if we're getting changes, I would say you need to, within your birth chart, know, and you will. Look, like from your Aries axis, your career is going to change whether you want it or not. Okay? You have Pluto there. It's going to change. Point blank, accept that. Don't hold on to things, keeping them exactly the same. Allow transitions and changes. How you relate to groups is also going to change because it's Pluto, but it's Aquarius, it's groups. And what you're interested in, you're going to be very interested in occult wisdom, spirituality, being yourself. We tend to find with the Aquarian kind of axis that we want to feel a sense of belonging, but can we be the odd one out and still belong 100%? So it's going to trigger you to do that. So there definitely is going to be a point of change there. But inside your birth chart, I would go to the 10th house. I would look at the 7th, I would look at the 10th, and I would look at the 7th. The first is you. That's already happening this month. You don't need to worry about that. But the 10th house is going to tell you the zodiac sign, and that's going to give you a better indication of when it's going to happen. At this point in time, from the collective energy, you're sort of looking at it as the Capricorn axis. It's Pluto in nature, it's Saturn in nature. That can give you the significance of the month where that will happen, but on the Aries Libra axis, it's still a contract. So you're definitely going to find that. I'll sum your reading up and we'll get into the next one. Okay, what else am I saying? You've got a lot of options. You've got more options than you think, but you're being selected. You could be feeling quite limited. You could be feeling as like, oh my gosh, there's so many variables, there's so many things. You also see the full potential of what this career could give you, okay? You're trying to be strong, but you are up in your head about it. 1 minute you feel, oh my God, are they going to kick me out? What the hell would I do from here? The other can be causing paranoia and stress. There is change. There definitely is change. They're saying you're going to be okay. You will have the strength. You do have the, how can you explain it? You can have a very creative mind to be able to see things beyond what others see, okay? Now, this can really serve you in all your industries. It could be advertising. It could be that you get into advertising. It might be that you get into marketing or packaging things, but seeing things outside the box. Hold on to that because that is yours to take with you. They're asking you to stay centered at this point in time. Around your career sector, there is a lot going on. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. It can be overwhelming you. You're also going to be more busy. You can find, especially because I do know the industry you're in and I know the astrology, you're going to be busier than you were before. Okay, that can be very like cross wires, a lot more orders coming in, big changes within the business going on. Especially from could be website updates, maybe upgrades, but I would say, yeah, be patient with it, okay? Now, as to love, like honestly, I do feel you could be bumping into people of the past. Poppy, are you in the house? Okay. You're welcome, Slow. Good luck. It's going to be an intense month for us, that's for sure. Okay, what have we got, Poppy? Okay, this could be two things. In a way, it can be, oh, I love you too, lovely. You'll be fine. How can I explain this? You can feel as though you are wanting to be free of something. You could also feel as though you're wanting more adventure, you're wanting to jump out there in the world, you're wanting to do things, and you feel you've been doing things quite the traditional way. Now, this could be about being solo versus being a connection. It could be a circumstance that you're going through. You want less stress. You want more. This could even be financial freedom. You're wanting more financial freedom. You're wanting things to change. You're not knowing how to get, you're sort of like, how the hell do I get out of this? How do I juggle this situation? How do I balance this situation? You're making a lot of sacrifices at the moment, but it feels as though you're kind of wondering with these sacrifices, with this patience, with this transition, there is something to do with love and abundance. There is an offer of some description, but I feel, again, there is a proposal of some description. You got a choice here. This is a choice between investing in a circumstance or leaving. Okay, now, is this could it be a person in the past? 100% it could. I've got 3 cards here at the minute. It is looking like you are going through a transition. There is this tunnel, and it's catch-22. It's between tradition and freedom. Tradition and freedom. It almost feels like a Juno retrograde. Could it happen in your money, career, and love? Either or. It could be happening in all of them. So, this even can be, it could be that you're spying on somebody or they're spying on you, but it feels like the outcome card's weird. It's like you're going to have some information come in, but it's third hand. This could be to do with another person having a tower moment. See, it's really important for me to know the context when interpreting the cards, and that's why it's important for you guys to be here for the feedback. I can say, and I'll sum it up, there is a contradiction between freedom and moving into maybe something a little bit more traditional. You could be assessing both. You could be weighing the pros and cons. There are some sacrifices you're making, and for the right situation, you will. You also do feel people do need to start sacrificing for you. It can't be a one-sided coin. I do see a correlation between either a physical, intimate relationship or a physical career with money. But there is some context being formed here. You are going to hear gossip through the grapevine. It's going to give you almost some hope, but it's going to give you some context of what you're dealing with. This also can be a time where you feel very sensitive to, it's almost like when you get something good and you don't believe it's true, so the carpet gets pulled out from under you, but it's what you're feeling to do with it. They're asking you to be quite open-minded with it, okay? Three girls alive. Oh, God, we've got this one coming in now. Okay. Yeah, well, look, if this is love, I would say, it does feel like something's on the precipice of change. So could it be somebody physically walking in and offering you some romantic gesture and you're like, oh my God, how do I feel about this? I also feel this could be gossip about maybe something this person is going through behind the scenes. This could be if they were in a physical relationship and now they're separated. That's kind of how it's coming through to me. They're also referencing Christmas in July, so there could be a time frame. Now, it doesn't mean to say you're going to have to wait till July, because I'm really not feeling that at all, but there is an offer here. Could it be 2 people? It could be. It could be 2 roads. It's like, which one do I take? We just got the contradicting energy, which does indicate to me you're trying to make a decision and you're scared you're going to make the wrong decision. I hope that helps. Now, we have next, had to ban the tarot destroyer who likes to kind of spam people's channels. Leo Mix, how you doing? She's probably going to sleep. Anyway, we have. Oh God, you're going through the same thing. Yeah. What's this about? We also have. It's almost like you want to. You could be going to an event solo, okay? This could be you being single, you being free, you being vulnerable, you being open, you being playful. You're wanting to get back to that. You're wanting to get back to that. You're wanting to go back to when times were simpler. This could be some old things coming up from the past, unhashing old conversations. This is in the context of a relationship and not really knowing where you stand, but offering, going back to any previous offers, going back and reviewing it, and going back and trying to get to the grit of what's going on with this connection. You're like, where do I stand with love? Why is this so... Yeah, why is this so confusing? It's weird because I do feel this person's not wanting to be your enemy, okay? But some old stuff is coming up. Some old things are coming up. This could be nerves, how you deal with your nerves with it. This could be that you feel almost like you're being kept in the dark, you're not being told things, you don't... it's weird. It's almost like I feel you're going to have a good conversation. If this hasn't happened already, I do think it's going to. Even whatever experience you have, they're just showing me chalk and chase there. So the experience you have at the party is very different after the fact. Now, I don't think this is a negative thing. I think there is going to be, it's like a stepping stone, a paving stone. There's more conversations. There's more digging deep later. You're wary, though. You're like, you don't want, it's hard. In order to be vulnerable, which you're realizing, is when we pull the walls down. Okay, so when we pull the walls down is when we actually get the gist of it. I think there's you're anxious. You're like, okay, are we going forwards or are we going backwards? I hit her. It's the same writing. It's the same writing, same individual. Yeah, this is Leo next. I haven't seen Leo next. Oh, did I hide? Why did I do that? Let me. I didn't hide them. Where did that happen? Starred. Private chat. If you've got it on your side, Lois, you can unban her. I don't know why it was banned. That's weird. Yes, I can see you now. Cool. Thank God Lois is on that end. I'll have to check through the streaming deck, eh? Okay, so are you getting the context of what I'm saying? Now, what happened? Because I feel as though you might have felt isolated. Have you gone to this party already? Because it feels like a party event. It feels like a connection. It's different to how it was last time. That's what they're saying. But they're saying you could be very nervous and up in your head about things. It's like unanswered question. Like you've got questions. You've got like feelings that you need to voice. I do think that's going to be a major conversation here. I do think you're going to get to the grit of things, but you are on the fence about where things are. Yeah, possibly, because how many of the spammers have cropped up? You want to get to the root of it. You really want to get to the root of it. So, have you got... Yes, we did have the party today. Okay, well, what the cards are showing is you're not going to get your answers during the party. You're going to feel isolated, alone. You may get up in your head. That's what the cards are showing me. You also can feel as though there's misinformation because we've got the isolation feeling. Okay, so this can be something psychological, especially because you do need to talk to this person and you do need to get to the root cause of it. You might have felt it wasn't the time or the place. They also may have felt it wasn't the time and the place. If there were people there that generally in the past did trigger you, the paranoia can come about. You can feel as though, okay, well, I was invited, so does that mean we're going forward? There is going to be an offer, okay? There is going to be an offer, but I get the feeling you are going to get to the root cause of this. I feel this person, especially psychically, I don't know why this has come up in the last 3 weeks, but I do feel as though this person is responding to you. It feels in an unhealthy way, but it feels the deeper reason why is to trigger you. But you've outgrown that. You're like, don't be doing that shit with me. That's not going to work with me. You can't do that. I think if you stay in your lane and you stay very present, at the moment it is causing turmoil. I'm not going to lie. It is causing turmoil. I think they wanted to check whether you still loved them. Very toxic way of checking. But they wanted to check if you still had feelings for them. Yeah, they were really worried. They're like, because you're changed. They're like, not, yeah, they're like, you're on the fence about it. You do want it, but what you don't want is this head case situation. You're like, no, say what you mean what you say. This is what you're requiring this month. Okay? This is what you're requiring. But what they're saying, this person is going to have a chat to you. This person is going to, like, clear the air. I would say don't initiate that conversation. Make them sweat. I know that sounds real bitchy. Just keep it cool. Keep it cool. You are basically stating in that kind of analogy is I'm not one to be trifled with. Like I know my worth. I know how I feel about you. I know if somebody's about it. I know how I feel about you. You really need to work it out. Okay? And so you're putting the energy back on that person, and I would be real super cool and calm. Okay? If this person has some working out of issues, it will come. Last card, any advice for you, and then I better get on to them. But yeah, well, definitely you're more than likely at the moment in the thick of it, thinking, what does this mean? What did they do? Why is the behavior? This person is off, okay? Yeah. Like, you're like, is some BS going on? That's your question. Is this person saying something? Clarify. That's all you want to know. Yes, the way you need to look at it is, I am single, okay? We're not together as yet till the contract is formed. We have feelings about this person. Could we be triggered about this? No, because if they do claim to need to do that, go have fun, but I'm not your backup plan. So I think at the moment it's an emotion, but it's like, where are we? But that is the big question. They're like, keep it cool, Susan. Keep it cool. Keep it cool. This is for this person to work out. It's their entrapment, right? You're like, look, if you don't get your shit together, your issues aren't much issues. I know you got problems. I know we can work through these, but unless you communicate with me properly, I don't know what this is. They're worried you're moving on, right? Clarity will come. I'll leave it at that. Clarity will come. Last but not least, Ben's probably gone to bed. Are you in bed? That's personal. That should not be asked, Yildiz. That's inappropriate. What do we have for Ben? What did Ben want to know? Let's see. Starred. Whatever Spirit wants to share. What does Spirit want to share for Ben, please? You need some space. You're welcome, Swope. We will see each other in the members hub. I will probably tonight do an update. We'll see. I'll update through typing in the members. You just need some space, Ben. Okay, it's almost like there could be a lot of there could be gossip, there could be information. It's like, to me, the way I'm picking up on it psychically is you just really need some space. There could be some whispers through the grapevine of some things playing out, and it feels like gossip. You want to get things from the horse's mouth. This also could be that you are, how do I explain it? You could feel worried about what people are thinking about you. And look, in the context, could it be incorrect? It could be. It could be. But this also could be more, which is what I'm picking it is, opportunities that are coming through, but it's hearsay, it's not gospel. Does that make sense? So you're having to wait. You're having to wait. Maybe there's a transition, a change of some description. And I feel as though this also can be your psychic intuition. So it could be your feeling hunches of change. You're hearing it through the grapevine, but you haven't quite got the kind of the paperwork or something like that. So this space to be able to assess your thoughts, to be able to just look at the wider picture, I think you're really needing. We do have the sun in the past position. It's interesting because you're going to be jumping between two areas of life. The sun is going to transition back into a different sign. At the moment, being where it is, you can find that you do want that privacy. You do want that space. You do want to just, dream, fantasize, envision. It can be very psychic in nature for you. You also could feel that where you're living in a proximity could be an issue. So it could be, hey, I'm needing to rework this, or I'm needing to travel quite a bit. I'm needing to work remotely to deal with things. There is a hurdle you're moving through. You are working it out. Okay, so there could be something that needs to be changed, and it could be causing you concern. You're like, something needs to give. Something is not manageable. This could be you feeling quite run down, or this could be a physical situation you're looking at and saying, hey, this directly needs addressing. This needs changing. This could be balance between home and family. It could be a physical relationship. You also could find at this time some old things can crop up to do with connections, be it it's a current relationship or it's a previous. If there has been a flow, generally the connection can deepen. If this has been a difficult time, it can become more difficult. Feeling hunches of change and seeing it in my mind, traveling and something radical. Yeah. So wherever you're not, look, this even could be you feeling hindered by some things and like, how can you manage it? How can you deal with all of these things? You could be tweaking things around to change the structure. And that also could be something that is actually helping you. Now, you are going to have some progression. As divine masculine, you could be feeling as though you are having to be the emperor of situations, but this also can be progression. It can be things that are changing and moving. So I also do feel that is something that is happening for you. There's stress in this transition. I also feel you have a guide on the other side that is trying to give you some psychic advice. My other half said last night, I told my youngest to, oh. Well, you're asleep. Anything you say or do cannot be held against you. Maybe they should have been in bed. Oh gosh, there is stress here. It's psychologically, okay? And again, Mars and Cancer can be a lot of issues with family at the moment. So you do have a lot on your plate. You're trying to find that balance. Yeah, you're trying to find that balance. There is a healing going on, and there is a person that is entering into your dream state. This can at times feel a little bit like a haunting. They're coming to guide you into this new chapter. At times, you can feel like you are an alien inside a simulation of your life, but you are going to return to reality. You are going to return to this new chapter of your life in a very different way. But there's something that's being processed, but something that is needing to be resolved, and it is becoming problematic. It is going to crop up and it is going to need to be addressed because it is causing a lot of stress and instability. So I do see something that is not manageable coming to a head. I know he's... Yeah, you're like, look, this is this could be, Paige can be a child, okay? Paige can be a child. Paige could be, it could be that whatever this situation is, because I don't want to kind of hone it into one area, Ben. This could be a myriad of issues, right? And issues don't have to be, it's like, hey, how am I handling my health? How am I handling my stress? Therefore, by me caring for myself, placing myself as a top priority, I can be better for other people around me. When you're doing that, that's actually going to help you, right? And so therefore you can actually get through things. Also feel in a time management sense, it feels as though you need a creative space for that. It could be that what worked before simply isn't working now. So if you were working from home, it could be that that's not working at the minute. And that's quite conflicting. And you're having this revelation about it. It's like, gee, I really need to change this about. I need my own space to be able to do this, to be able to work through it. So if that's happening for you, when we see the Ten of Swords, it's like it's becoming unmanageable. It's got to give, right? It's got to give. So I have to change that. That space is maybe a solution at the moment. But when Mars moves out of Cancer, you're probably going to find it's either that you're going to put your foot down and say, these are the times that I can operate in this space. These are the ground rules. These are maybe the tools I can use to actually eliminate that. It could be working a couple of weekends to get back on track. As for your fatigue levels, you're probably going to find the energy is going to start picking up, I would say, from here, and it's going to increase. But you're going to have to be very patient because energetically you are going to feel like energy is being pulled through you. Scorpio is definitely intense, but Aries is going to feel that. Scorpio is going to feel that. Aquarius is going to feel that. And children, because Mars is in Cancer, we can be having issues with our children. And then career, and then our own emotions is like, oh my God, I can't be everything. So these areas are going to be addressed. Could there be conflict in your relationship? Yes, they can, because we're having a Venus retrograde, but it also is like, where do I stand in this? You're going to have to navigate it with patience towards yourself and towards the tribe. And it's a very different situation. You're checking in with this. A lot of old subjects linking back to 2006 can come up for you. I would say 2006 and 7. I would say 17, 18, and the first few weeks of 19. There can be some old situational ships cropping back up again. Keep that in mind. I hope that helps. And I'm going to pull a few cards for the collective, for those of you that did stick around to the end. And thank you, YouTube, for keeping the video going during all these transits. It's pretty hard at the minute. And we will do a quick energy update. Oh, look, I love my daughter. I said to my partner, I says, yeah, no, but my daughter's grown up. I've got past the, I couldn't imagine being a parent at this age. I'm just, and I don't call it age. I literally call it, I'm just in a different chapter. Shit. I'd do it if I needed to, if I had to, but would I put my hand up for it? Hell no. Hell no. Adults aren't boring. Adults are realistic. Adults are like, look, there's only so many hours in a day. Okay, collective energy. Okay, we need to be really realistic here. Okay. Collective energy is we will need to be realistic as we are moving towards the eclipse. Let's put capital letters. Collective energy. So moving into this time, most welcome, Ben. Collectively, we're going to need to be realistic. So if we're getting a PDF, if we're getting a psychic download, shit, something has changed, something's happening, just being really realistic. The other thing is we could get into our ego during this time because between now and the 14th, we are moving to that eclipse. Something is being eclipsed out or transformed or shifted or brought to our attention. And we also simultaneously can have energy of Pisces. So there can be something is being brought in due to that. And, having faith, having time to reflect upon things, honoring the feelings that we have. So being realistic, but also attempting to trust the process. We may have felt that this has been hard for us since, I would say, last year. Around September, October to this point, everything feels like a pause. Everything feels like we're being patient. Oh my God, we're always having to wait. We're dreaming about what the outcome's going to be. We're not naturally going to have that. We also could start feeling spiritually. For some, it can be that we're feeling optimistic or we're going to have a victory of some description. We're also realizing by caring for our bodies and caring for our health is where we can actually attain that victory. It's getting that balance in check because if our body's no good, we can't do our work. We can't go towards our goals. So I think the balance between our desires to co-create, this could be your wealth, your love life, any of that. It's also having the victory in your heart, caring for your heart's needs. honoring any feelings that are coming up at this point in time, and, not cheating yourself out of what your feelings are, because I think it's really important to not cheat yourselves out of feelings that you really have. Now, the universe is not saying you are not going to get your star. But there is a process to this, and anything worth having is worth working hard for. So I do think we're in the midst of working this out. We could go into this victim state where we are feeling that things aren't going according to plan. Again, it takes time to get things back on track. A lot of retrogrades. We are in this month, we're going to have 2 eclipses, one from the previous nodal cycle, one from this. We're also having Neptune enter into Aries by the end of the month. Very different frequency. Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, Juno retrograde. Doesn't mean movement forward isn't happening. Not at all, but we can find some solutions through dealing with some of these past tense situations. So by resolving the particular areas, I would say, what would you look for in your birth chart? I'd say birth chart, and I'd say some of the things. It could be some situations relating to your family, healthy boundaries, caring for your health, getting balance in order, dealing with some paperwork, allowing the past to let go, not being critical of yourself, and being able to give your time, realistic time, to be able to deal with some of these things to bring that consistency back to your life. You may feel disillusioned. You may feel disempowered. I would be careful about how much saturation you are having. And look, it's not that we're not going to look at social media. It's that if that is affecting your vibration and all it's doing is causing negative, take a little bit of a break. Take a break. Go listen to some meditation instead. Listen to something that is going to ground you. Take some time to have your salt baths or a shower, a nice cup of tea, doing something that is very unwinding, because we may want to do that. Some of you could find that you don't have motivation. You feel very confused about what weighs up. What do I do about this? Is something going to happen to me? We are all moving into a brand new alignment. Now, does that mean terrible things will happen to us? Not necessarily. Just really that we are going through a practical review of our values, a practical review of our balances. It's like we're doing a spreadsheet and we're going, okay, where am I going? And I think you're going to find the link of how to become successful. So it's not that you're not getting your start card. You're moving these things around. But also, as much as you are being gentle on yourself, you may need to be gentle and patient on other people at this time. Big changes. Conflicts are possible. Drive very carefully this month. Be super aware of your surroundings, children, emotions, your physical location, your security. Be very cautious of these. Around the eclipses, if it is something 3D that is happening to you, address that then. If it is not, move through the vibration. Should you do guided meditation during an eclipse night, do it beforehand. Allow the downloads to come on the day and around the first, I would say a day either side, even 3. And then you can go back to working in an area. Now, what can this be triggering? Collectively, it can be the Chiron energy. It's the higher heart chakra. To clear it, we can actually manifest. So yes, we should protect our heart chakra. You can use green. It's very Chiron energy. So a lot of healing, a lot of purging is very possible. Eating green foods to balance it. It could be smoothies. I know that I've actually got a smoothie lately, and I really wanted to get into my juicing again, and having anything down to kale, mint, apple, and putting that in a juicer and actually cleansing, going through a cleanse, and being careful what you're buying at the shops at the moment. Because what can happen during a Venus retrograde is we do need to check the use by date. We can get tummy. We can get sick of eating a use by food. Again, with the axis of Mercury and Venus, what you can get is use by dates. We didn't notice it. Shit, okay, I'm eating rotten food. So Be careful of that during this time. Try and make the food at home. Try and be aware of what you're putting into your system. With such heavy transits linking to Virgo, you can find that your gut is not processing. So it's not processing the foods. It's not going through your system as well. So keeping the hydration level there, being very gentle to yourself, and looking at what you're fighting for. You know, you could feel like everything is for nothing. Again, we can go into the monkey mind. We can go into victim consciousness at this time. And look, it's not to say that the burdens and the vibrations that you directly feel this week aren't real. They are your vibration to have. You know, what we could see a person fall over and trip and go, oh, get over it. Just, you know, wipe your knee and get back up. Yet a person could have a memory related to falling over. It could be that they were attacked once upon a time. And so it takes them back to that trigger point. So what we see at a very face value might not be really what is going on. And we do have to be very careful about how a person is having a simulation of an experience and have some compassion for them. So not to judge a book by its cover, most welcome, sweet, but to actually look at it and go, okay, what are we fighting for? Do we feel disillusioned? If we do feel disillusioned, just be really gentle with yourself. It's okay to feel that, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the status quo. And to know, you know, work hard. Working hard for something, you are going to have the success. It could be that you just need to review some of your practices, some of the things that you are actually dealing with during this time. Okay, really reviewing what you value. I would definitely say check your bank accounts. So it could be logins, it might be your security and your passwords. This could be a great week to do that. And to delay any big ticket items. Delay any big ticket items. As to the good things to do, test things out. Get your ducks in a row. Could be that you're very busy at home. It might be that you have revelations that you need to fix certain things, finalize certain things, and get ready. Okay. This could be, again, as Poppy said, weather pattern situations. Things are going to come together. What we sow is what we're going to reap. And I think you're going to have this ideal of what you want to sow for this next chapter, but nobody can really tell you what that is going to be. So it could be that you feel as though the direction in which you want to go and the things that you want to do is going to be very different, but you're not quite sure about what that is yet. Take the time. There can be some delays with it. Again, they are saying there is going to be this new direction. Last but not least, any final words of the cards? Okay, what you love is going to manifest, okay? You also could get a message from a loved one. There can be some text messages in the next 24 hours. But they're also saying, look at all things Venus inside your chart. We have the sweetheart card. Text messages, information. I would say some of you can have imbalances occurring in the lower chakras and the higher heart chakra. Some of you can be experiencing headaches through the lunar activity. And the third eye with Virgo. So it can be tapping that can actually help that situation, keeping your fluids up, doing some guided meditation. I would usually not recommend doing meditation on all 7 chakras, and there's more than 7. I would do one particular area. If it's overactive, it's more an aggressive chakra. If it's underactive, you're going to be very sluggish. But I am being shown the yellow and the red chakra, so getting your footing right. That can be the red chakra. Some of you could be having very heavy cycles at the moment or fluctuating. So if you're having like really through the hips, a lot of pain, and then the going up from there, it can be the orange and the yellow. So I feel it's more the 2 ones that I'm feeling is confidence and courage and creativity. It might be that it is needing to get into overdrive, or it could be that it's very sluggish, and that could be feeling very non-confident, very triggered. So check in with where that's falling for you. Look up base chakra, solar plexus, sacral chakra. I would get some of those tweaked, not all at once. If you feel they're overactive, try to not tap into those food groups. Remove those colors and food groups for a bit. Do your research. If it's underactive, add those food groups. Then as we move to the eclipse, what you can do is flow through, keep hydrated, have your crystals all ready, get to the other side. You then can go back to the guided meditation, but be aware of the heart chakra. I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope that helped. I hope the energy updates are helping. I may start doing these very separately. And yes, as I mentioned, we are having an upgrade here at Yildiz Readings. So if you are liking the form things are going and you do have any opinions about what the members are and, you know, how the new membership network is going, feel free to tell the collective all about the membership and the perks of it, and that can give them an indication of whether they do want to jump onto the website and actually join the email list. For those of you that don't know, we do have the Sage Inner Circle Network open to the first group, which was initially our YouTube members. The second group is those that weren't active last month in the membership. They can go onto the email list. You can find the landing page and all information directly below, and they can get onto that. And it also gives you on the info page all information about what is provided inside the network, anything down to blogs, super chats, private super chats, events. We've got the event calendar in there. We have a twin flame room. We have an astrology room. We've got a chat room. We have a co-hosting room. So we are building it out. The rooms are there. We're still adding to it. And especially with these retrogrades, we're testing the features out for the first group. And the second group will be moving through. I'll be opening up the education and starting to build that out as well. But definitely we will have some lives coming up for the members with webinars and the eclipses for that added support. So if you do want to come through and join, feel free. All the information is directly below.